everybody was well rested. A little interesting side note, it's impossible to do an interview with John Macafee without him smoking cigarettes. So we tried 3 hours, every frame, sorry. So you guys might wonder what I'm doing here today. Latium is, the idea behind Latium is the idea of crypto adoption, right? So anybody in this space, you know, we see the value of what blockchain offers. We see the value of what this industry can bring to the world, right? But I feel like there's a pretty severe lack in the ability to adopt that for the everyday person, right? So what I want to talk to you guys today about is the idea of how we get the other 99% of the world who aren't participating with them involved, right? We're all here, we're building protocols for each other, and all that's great. It's the foundation of an industry. We're in our infancy. But at some point, we have to start looking outside of how to bring in other people, right? So I guess my first question to everybody, just by show of hands, how many of you guys think crypto is easy to use? Not a single hand? We got one. I'm going to argue that crypto is not easy to use. And I'm going to say that because I have 25 years in technology, and I've made plenty of mistakes using crypto. Okay? Lost money, sent the wrong address, had tokens locked up. And I think that this is something that we have to solve if we want to get regular everyday people. It's the kind of experience that will burn a user. Their first experience is they lose money, they're probably not going to come back. Right? So we have to be able to solve that problem. And what Latium does, or should I say our goal, is to make that easier to use. Right? So Latium at its core is a casting platform. And the reason that we've created a tasking platform is because it's something everyone can do. Everyone that exists makes an income somehow or another. Everyone has production, right? So it's an easy access point into crypto. It's something you have to have no experience in crypto, right? No technical understanding, and you can come in and you can obtain crypto just by effort, right? Tasks could be something like liking something on Facebook. They could be something physical. Maybe you want to mow someone's yard. Whatever you are capable of doing, you can take that skill set and apply it and be paid in crypto, right? So we pretty much paired two booming industries, blockchain and the gig economy, right? This wasn't because I'm passionate about the gig economy. It's because I'm passionate about the adoption of crypto. And we have to have some easy way to get into this marketplace. We can't expect people to do 4, 6, 8 weeks of research on how to use a wallet, what a hash is. This isn't realistic. Now, is this the time for that? That's a question that we're gonna have to answer, right? But I don't think anybody can argue that at some point we have to start going outside of our own communities, outside of this industry, and start appealing to everyone else, right? I remember command line entries on computers, right? This is what we did back in the day. My first computer was a Commodore 64K, amazing machine, right? Back then, if you wanted to load a piece of software, you had to type in a command line to do so. What changed that to make a computer in everyone's house and use it? A UI, a mouse, the ability to move and click on something. Took a computer from being 1 out of 100 or 1 out of 1,000 to every single household, right? And we've even made that easier now because everyone has a supercomputer in their pocket right now, right? Some of us have multiples, you know. So that transition is a natural transition. It happens in every industry. You start off with an idea, you start off small, and you start developing within your own community. But at some point, you have to reach out to the rest of the world, right? And what I'm saying is Latium is the first project that I've seen that's making that step. We're not the only one. We're not the only one who's going to exist. We know that. But we're trying to contribute to the idea of crypto adoption and getting everyday people in. Something else that kind of sets Latium apart is we take a very different business approach. You know, we did ICM, okay? I'm not here to sell you tokens. We already sold out. We sold out in January. We didn't do a conference to try to sell tokens. We didn't market the sale very widely. We really kept it in its tight community, right? We're here marketing a working, functioning product, right? Latium is live on the internet today, latium.org, right? What is included in that already is an internal exchange, the ability to post tasks, an internal rating system that's not driven by human opinions, AI driven, okay? Proof of human, which we're going to talk about in a minute. It's actually digital verification of your existence. Outside that, we have internal transfers, feeless transfers, real-time transfers. If I want to send you money, I don't have to know your wallet address. I just need to know your username. And we did that because that's what people are used to doing. People understand that. If I pull up someone's profile and I say, I want to send that person money, I don't need some other step to go to figure out how to do that, right? I just want to send that person money, and I want to know that money's going to that person, right? So that's already in the system as well. We also have an integrated chat system. So that's kind of a little bit about where we are today. Proof of human. You might see it on our booth. You might see it here on our tags. What proof of human is a much bigger concept than just validation of a human being, okay? We're using biometric data to create a fingerprint of you as a user. Now, why does that have value? Well, anybody who interacts on social media, and anybody who's an influencer probably is aware of the idea of spam, bots, paid services. All these things are major issues. We don't really talk about it a lot. And one of the reasons we don't talk about it a lot is because these inflated user numbers are beneficial. There's a financial incentive in inflating numbers, right? So if I'm a coder, I can go create 1 million Twitter accounts, right? It's good for Twitter, it's good for me, right? Everyone wins. The problem with that is we're lacking trust, right? And that creates a bigger issue. So although the internet gave us this amazing technology to take things from physical communication to digital, accelerating things, it also removed trust, right? If I'm talking to you face to face, I know you're a person, I know who I'm talking to. That's a different relationship than talking to an online profile, which may be one of a million, right? So with proof of human, we're giving the community back the concept of trust, right? The way we're doing that is saying, you are you, you have one account. You can have as many accounts as you want on the platform, but you can only have one verified account. You have a credit rating, which we call a trust score. That follows you for life. You can ruin it, you can build it back, but you can't create another user. Okay? That idea is portable to other businesses, right? But it's also what we're using for our foundation of tokenizing human beings. Ethereum allowed businesses to tokenize themselves, right? Proof of human allows us to tokenize you. Well, why would we want to tokenize a person? Your production has value. Every person has value. And right now there's a lot of parties who are involved in your value, who don't necessarily do anything, but they're there. Maybe it's usury, maybe there's a relationship, maybe there's a purpose for some people in some of those relationships. But for all of us, we're all getting a portion of our production, right? So the idea with proof of human and the idea of giving you your value and your production to society is ultimately you control it. As you interact within the network, your score goes up. Your market cap is attached to your score, and you can increase your market cap. If you're a good actor, your market cap goes up. If you're a bad actor, your market cap goes down. All we're doing is acknowledging a simple fact. Every economy is predicated on human production. And we're taking that to crypto because there's no third parties involved. It's you, it's your production, and we believe you should own that. So what's the future for Latium? Well, we talked a little bit about the idea of proof of human and what that means, right? But we haven't talked about how big that can be, right? The idea of companies, the idea of nonprofits, the idea of government agencies, the idea of voting rights. When you identify a digital profile back to a person, now you have the ability to do things digitally that before you could only do physically, right? So we see it as the next step in the internet boom, the blockchain revolution, to be able to take everyday things that everybody does physically and move them digitally. But we have to have trust. Without trust, we can't do any of these things, right? So the future is, right now maybe you start a company and you start an ERC-20 token, right? Well, our goal is to get you to do that within Latium, right? We're creating all the facilities you need to be able to do that. You already have your own personal token, but maybe you want to combine with other people. Well, their credit has an impact on your business, right? If you're a good worker, a good networker, right? Your rate is high. You get together with other parties who have a high rating. Now you have a naturally high rated company, right? The whole goal here is transparency and accountability, which I would argue is very much lacking in all technologies. The ability for me to throw away an account and just start over. The ability for me to say something that I would not say if people knew it was me, right? There's advantages in that, maybe, in the short term. But I would argue that it damages society in the long run. And so, bringing people back to responsibility, bringing back people to accountability, these are concepts that have kind of dissipated over the last 20, 30, 50 years. But they're real values. They're real values. So now, I mentioned earlier, we were talking about, is now the time, right? Well, I started blockchain in 2013. And I wanted to do this so bad then. It wasn't the right time, right? Good idea is part of making a successful business. Implementation is part of making a successful business. But timing is critical. You can have a great idea in the wrong time, you get nowhere, right? So without the right timing, good ideas just fall by the wayside. Or they get picked up by someone else who has the right time, right? We see that lots of times. Very, very seldomly do we see an industry inventor become the industry leader long term, right? So the time is now, and the reason it's now is because everyone has heard about blockchain. It's on your TV, everyone's talking about it. They have no idea how to access it. They have no idea how to use it, right? So now is the time to start giving them access. We can't expect them to sit down and read about blockchain for 4 to 6 weeks, 8 weeks, learn how to program, learn how to install a 100 gigabyte blockchain. This is not realistic. People won't do it, right? We're taking them from an era where they're used to pressing a button and getting exactly what they want, instant gratification, right? And we're saying, no. Put 8 weeks worth of work. Do that, and then you can get into blockchain, right? So we're very happy to be here, guys. Our booth's right out front. You can't miss us. I would love to talk to any of you guys that have questions, and thank you very much for having me.
Thank you so much, David. Just come back.